Every day is a lucky day. The formula for luck is equal to opportunity plus preparedness. Many of us wish we'd be lucky, but most of us are not prepared to accept that there is an element of hard work too involved. You will miss all of the shots if you don't even try, and you should not worry about the results as long as you have given your best shot. Luck is just an excuse that we use to blame the results on. Therefore, nobody but you decide what circumstances you will be in. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. There are few events way beyond your control, like a natural calamity or an accident. It can happen to anyone at any time. The common questions you will hear would be, "Oh God, why does this have to happen to me? Why am I so unlucky?" A golden rule for all troubles is, God matches troubles with people. The universal law is that you will never face a problem that you cannot solve. Hence, do not call troubles and problems, but challenges or a situation. Everything that happens to you has some hidden meaning or coincidence behind it. Look at your life till now, and you'll find certain events that took place, rather surprisingly, to put you in this situation. The universe sends messages through events, and it takes an alert and composed mind to read the clues. Believe that today is your lucky day, and you will spend the day in positive expectation. Though you hope for the best, you need to be prepared for the worst. In general, what happens in a day is what you expect. At the same time, even if something awful happens to you, remember that today is your lucky day, and this event has to have a superior significance, and it is a part of a larger picture. Let us look at this example. An incident happened with a golfer called Tom. Tom and his friend were on the course, and Tom executed a perfect shot which flew all over the course and landed right into the hole. As soon as the ball landed into the hole, the friend said, "You are a lucky man, Tom. The wind was perfect and you were perfectly placed for the shot too. I wish I'd get that shot." Tom smiled mysteriously. "Isn't it amazing? The harder I try, the luckier I get." Conclusion: be grateful for all the good things that happen to you. There are millions of people less privileged around you who don't have basic things that we take for granted, like food, shelter, or education. There are so many fighting for freedom or from poverty. Even the rich are not spared. Different diseases and problems are widespread among them. Compared to all these, you're far better off. Doesn't that make you feel extremely lucky? Be positive about everything. All of us believe that the world is composed of two forces, the good and the bad, or the positive and the negative. The good or positive consists of things and events that we feel good about, whereas the bad or negative things are the painful experiences. You never know what will happen next, and just like everyone else, you most likely fear the existence of the negative in your life. You don't want the pain that's associated with it. You just want the positive experiences. But who decides what comes to you? Fate, your past life karmas, or is it God who decides to give you doses of pain and pleasure? The answer is you. Yes, you decide whether what comes to you is positive or negative. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. Yes, you don't have any control over the situation you face, but you have complete control over how to react to the situation. 10% is what happens to you, and 90% is how you react to it. No one can actually choose or predict the events that life throws up, but what you can control is your reaction to that situation. That is a choice that you make, and this is the time to choose the positive. Nature has given a challenging battle to man. Of the thousands of thoughts that we have every day, only around 1% are positive. Try 9:1 principle, which is, for every event that happens and has one negative effect, there are 9 positive effects. The problem with us is that we hardly ever look at the 9 positives. We just apply all our energy and attention to the one frustrating negative point. This negative grows to surpass our mind till we believe that the event was a negative one. Let us look at these examples. Put a rotten vegetable in a basket of completely good ones, and soon the rot spreads. The optimist calls the glass half full, whereas the pessimist calls it half empty. This shows that both react differently to the same situation. Conclusion: even the most negative events of life have a positive side to them. It requires the power of insight to see it. Maybe the illness of your loved ones brought you closer to him or her, or the loss of some possession made you realize its true value and made you more careful about it in future. That is the right perspective. Positive mental attitude pays more always. The mantra for true positive thinking is hope for the best and prepare for the worst. Positive thinkers expect positive things to happen. However, they know that these things could go wrong. But because they focus on the positive, they handle such situations much better. They have the right mental attitude to tackle problems rather than crib about them. Let us have a look at few important points to be considered. Thinking positive is not an insurance against things going wrong. Hence, you could fail despite thinking positive. When you fail, instead of feeling defeated, simply ask yourself, what can I learn from this? Let us look at these examples. One of the boys whose father fell seriously ill was totally shattered since cancer was detected. Life is so unfair, he said. He lost his father within 2 months. This event was the most painful one in his life. When he applied the 9:1 rule to this event, initially skeptical but eventually he realized that the illness had made him come closer to his father and his family. He began to take care of his mother more. The boy learned to value people when they are alive. And also he began to donate to the Cancer Aid Association. So many positive changes. Conclusion: for the positive thinker, there are no failures, only learning experiences. This is a great way to become a winner forever. Honesty is the best policy. More important than being honest with others is being honest to you. We think that telling lies is a great way to escape problems. We believe that the person we are lying to can't make out that we are lying. People close to you will always be able to make out if you are lying. And as for strangers, they'll eventually discover that you lie and will discount what you say. There are many people around us who tell a lot of lies. They are never taken at face value. Always remember, empty vessels make more noise. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. If you've done something wrong, it is more difficult to admit it, but that's exactly what you've got to do. Being honest means that you do your job honestly and deliver all your duties to the best of your abilities. The biggest payoff is a clear conscience. When you look at yourself in the mirror, you should be proud to see a person of integrity. There are times when someone charges less or returns you some extra change. Being dishonest at that time may gain a few rupees, but your honesty may save that person's job. Whatever you give back comes back to you. So remember, when you cheat and lie, you're ensuring that you will be cheated and lied to. Let us look at this example. Pinocchio was in trouble. He was a compulsive liar. Then he was in a situation where whenever he would lie, his nose would grow. If this is the case, how long would your nose be? Truth is powerful and cannot be hidden for long. Truth is what a simple man with loincloth used to shake the foundations of a worldwide empire. Mahatma Gandhi, who used satyagraha to bring down the British government. Conclusion: you might say all this sounds good, but being totally honest is just not possible in today's world. Remember, Satyam Vada, Priyam Vada. If you have to speak a lie that helps someone, it's better than a truth that hurts. The responsibility to choose is yours. Use your ability to lie as wisely as possible. It may be very tempting to lie and get away from the situation, but you need guts to tell the truth, which pays in the long run. Since you can never hide something forever, it will always come true. Do one good deed anonymously. Heed to the saying, treat others as you would like to be treated. The UN statistics say 1% of the global war funding can be used to feed every living person on the planet. And according to economist John Fuller, there is enough wealth in the world for each of its 6 billion people to be millionaires. You have access to the basic necessities, which is enough to put you in the upper half of the world population. We crib at our dinner table about the food and never think about the African countries that are at war against each other for decades, leaving them poor to even afford food. We complain when our parents don't allow us to do something, never thinking of those countries still struggling for their freedom. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. You are among the blessed. So don't you feel you should share a good part of your fortune with others? When you start to share, you will be giving to people who need more than you and create value in the world. Your good deed can be for anyone around you, and it must bring value to the life of the person you're making it to. The beauty of doing something anonymously will make you realize that true greatness is unsung. God is the greatest giver. He has given us the world, this life, yet He's never ever told you to behave in a certain way since He has given all this. It's without expectations, so when you give, God is working through you secretly. You are His channel. This deed will be the noblest form of you. Let us look at this example. Your good deed could be anything from an anonymous letter to somebody, telling him or her all the good things about him or her, to a small gift that you can slip into their cupboard. Be sure not to get caught. You can do or give almost anything. Keep a track of all the anonymous good things you've done, since there will be times when you'll feel down and low. When you read the list, you will feel better. The important condition is that it must be done anonymously. Why? When you do a good deed, your internal reaction is to take credit for it. But when you do a deed anonymously, your ego is not boosted. Hence, if you've done something good, only you need to know. Seek out one new experience. The basic conditioning of the mind is such that it is hell-bent on seeking familiarity. That which is familiar and known naturally appears to be more captivating to the onlooker. Millions of rupees are spent in advertising every year, only to increase your familiarity with the product. However, if you look at life, you will discover a fascinating truth. Whenever you've learned something, it has been from something new, something untried. When we took our first step as babies, we were full of uncertainty, but gradually we soon learned to walk expertly. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. Your life can be judged by the new experiences that you've had. Your mind will resist the idea of the new and want to go back to the familiar things. All you have to do is try something that's new. There is a principle called action now. There are times in life when you're faced with a difficult choice with regard to the course of action you must take. Your initial response will be to delay the action and stay immobilized. However, remember the first word, action, which means that you need to act. But the simple choice of action is of no use if it's delayed. Action must happen now, immediately. Your new experience for the day can be anything from eating something you've never tasted before, or a place you've never been to, or you may talk to someone new. You can even try mastering a new skill. Let us look at this example. When you enter a party, you look for someone you know. When you meet someone else, you try to find out what's similar between you two. You feel safe when you know the way things are likely to turn out. You're more secure in your home than in some foreign country. Conclusion: life is a wonderful gift, but different experiences are what ultimately constitute life. You go through different experiences, which ultimately gets framed in your mind as beautiful memories. So it's not the years in your life that count, but the life in your years. Ironically, in spite of knowing that life grows in the moments that are new and unknown, most of us are afraid to try out the new, be it meeting new people or doing new things. So let's emerge from our cocoons and become butterflies that flutter around. Pray for someone else. Prayer is a way to ask God, and you make an unselfish prayer since you make it for someone else. Your hotline with your Creator is a prayer. We are taught to pray since childhood. However, most of us have forgotten the prayers of gratitude that we have mugged in our childhood years. A typical prayer nowadays is more of asking and less of thanking. One such prayer: God, please give me patience and make it fast. God has become just a provider and a complaint box. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. Everyone prays for himself or herself, which is not a big deal. There is nothing wrong in asking from God. All that you ask for with a pure heart will be given to you in abundance. It has been observed that when someone else prays for you, it comes to pass much faster than what it would normally take. This is the magic of prayer for someone else. You might ask, who do I pray for? Look around and you'll find the answer. Let us look at this example. There are millions around the world who are starved, deprived, unclothed, who don't even know they must pray. A small proposal from you will surely help. The best form of prayer is the one that comes from instinct and is beyond words. You'll watch the effect as you get more and more into prayer. This way we add value to the lives of others, and that's what living ultimately is all about. Smile. The one universally recognized symbol of happiness is the smile. One smile and everyone around you knows that you're happy. Deep within, you feel that things are right and feel the joy. When you are happy, you smile, and when you are sad, you frown. It has been that way always. With the emotional changes in your mind, your body responds. However, it works both ways, meaning not only does action follow emotion, but emotions follow action too. Let us have a look at a few of the important points to be considered. If you act happy, you feel happy. If you act depressed, you feel depressed. If you act peaceful when you're angry, the anger will definitely calm down. Smile when you're not happy. You'll realize that soon you begin to feel the joy within you. Let us look at this example. Try this for a moment. Hang down low with a very sad expression on your face and frown for some time. Soon you'll feel the emotion creep in too. Now try this. Act like you're happy. You'll soon realize that you are feeling happy too. Conclusion. The best thing is to smile when you're facing a problem. That's being really brave. Spread the smile virus because everybody needs a smile. Keep an open mind. A human being has one remarkable quality. He tends to learn from the past. Nature has prepared us with this loop that makes sure we always remember our experiences and use them to evaluate similar situations in the future. This is how we learn and grow. But there are times when this feature becomes a problem. In childhood, if you were chased by a wild dog, this will be stored in your memory and will make you believe that all dogs are dangerous and make you fearful of a dog even if the dog is friendly. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. Don't defend mistakes or beliefs. Though it's very tempting to tell the other person you are wrong, it doesn't help. You yourself might be at the wrong end, so put yourself under the scrutiny first and then react. Keeping your mind open has a spiritual component too. No event in your life is mere chance, but it has a deeper significance to it. If you have an intuition, have the guts to follow it. If you think you know a person, try and bond with the person. Be open to the way events are moving, for they will direct you somewhere. Let us look at this example. When something new is registered in the mind, it tends to measure up to the information it already has in store. Mental exercises. Your mind has infinite powers, but it needs exercise. It can be exercised in different ways for each of its faculties, thus making that particular faculty more effective. Intelligence may be genetic, but it can be developed too. Research has shown that learning has a far greater impact on it than genetics can ever have. Let us have a look at a few of the important points to be considered. Your mind and body are inseparable as described in quantum physics. The body is nothing but a manifestation of thoughts. A lot of diseases may be traced to your mind, especially the thoughts that you think will decide and have their reactions on your body. Just like the body, which needs regular exercise, so does the mind. The straightforward rule that applies here is, use it or lose it. Practice some mental exercises like crossword puzzle, reading, resolving a problem, mathematics, riddles, anagrams, etc. Let us look at this example. One of the boys had a lazy brain, and when recommended mental exercises, he tried them and was overwhelmed and gave up, saying he was mentally exhausted. There is a major difference here. Physical training produces acids and toxins, thus making you tired as it is a bodily process. However, there are no such secretions during mental exercise, which means that getting mentally tired is only a delusion. It's all in the mind. When sunlight is focused at one place with a convex glass, its consequences is a fire. That's the power of concentration which you can tap by exercising your mind. Conclusion: anything that challenges your cerebral muscles also builds them up. Your mental exercises need to be as you teach your mind, you'll be able to solve problems more easily. Even your level of common sense will increase, and so will your ability to remember things. All these skills are more acquired than genetic. Your brain is very supple. It depends on how much you stretch it. Spread love. The most gracious of emotions that man experiences is love. When you love, you can truly be your higher self. Love brings out the best in others. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. Love universally means love everyone without any discrimination or set notions. Love is unconditional acceptance rather than changing people. Fill yourself with love and project that love to all universally. Talk to everyone affectionately and forgive their mistakes. Let us look at this example. Just look at the mother who loves her child or a lover who longs for his beloved. If you have experienced love, you'll know how pure this emotion makes you. The feeling is that of flawlessness and invincibility. It is bliss and joy, the power of love. When a master was asked by one of his disciples on how he could get magic back into his love, the master said, "Ask as a help what you have been claiming as a right up to now." Conclusion: love is not something that can be taught, but yes, it's possible to experience it. Nowadays, it has become a commercial deal. If you do this, I'll love you, and if you do that, I will not. It's subject to conditions and is more of a power struggle. Have faith in yourself. Having faith in yourself is about knowing your limits first. You need to know what you're good at and what you're not good at. This knowledge will come to you only from trying. You might say you are not, but have you tried it yet? If you haven't, how can you say you're good or not? You're capable of much more than you try to do. People have cured diseases like breast cancer when all of medical science had given up. The only tool that they had was faith. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. If you failed in the past, or it is something you've never done before, you tend to avoid it. Though not making mistakes come from experience. Experience comes from making ample mistakes. So not trying something out of fear would mean you will lose the experience and you'll not develop that particular ability, and in the end, the lack of that ability would raise even more fear in you. This vicious circle is what we must break. The most important thing is to know your strengths and have faith in yourself that you can really do things well. If you have the power it takes to be a sage, faith merely channelizes them so that you can accomplish miracles. Let your faith be without any doubt, and in the end, it will yield results. True knowledge lies in the extent of one's live in the present. Life is a journey when your destination is unsure. So why wait for the destination that is unknown and leave our joy to it? Let us enjoy the present, which is the journey of life itself. The mind is a machine programmed to act up. This happens most of the time, as our mind is not in our control. Buddha said, "Show me two men, one who has defeated 1,000 armies and one who has controlled his mind, and I'll consider the latter much greater." Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. The mind has a monkey-like tendency to swing to either the future or the past without any rhythm or reason, at the first opportunity, and this flow of thoughts is out of our control. We need to train our mind to be paying attention. Meditation helps a lot. However, if we completely focus on doing the job of the present moment, every task is a meditation in itself. Participate in any activity with total concentration, and you will see that the quality of work shows a marked improvement and is more satisfying. Every chore then becomes a meditation. Another important aspect of this law is the matching of your thoughts and actions. Once you've decided to do something, apply yourself to it fully. Leave no stone unturned to achieve it. This is not only for the extraordinary tasks in your listen more than you speak. A good listener is not all about just talking less. Listening is something that has to be learned, since even if you don't talk more and listen, people will still open up more to some people. The reason being that your body language betrays you if you're not interested in listening fully. It will send clues that the other person will pick up. When you listen, you have to be very quick to respond. So give all your attention to the other person. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. Everybody wants to be heard. More than a helping hand or a peace of mind, what people do need is an attentive ear which listens to their problems, worries, and all they have to say. You have to become a listener. God has given us many clues when He made this body. We have 2 ears and 1 mouth to listen twice about what we speak. Most of us are so interested in ourselves, hence go on talking about ourselves all the time. But this is perfectly a normal thing. It's human nature. A really miraculous change comes when you begin to put others first. When you start to do that, people will react to you very well. It's just like treating others as you'd like to be treated. People need to be heard, and you can give them that by being a listener. Being a great conversationalist is all about being a great listener. Always listen more than speak. There are a few very irritating things you can do to spoil a conversation. One of them being to complete sentences for others. It becomes a guessing game between the two. As a result, the communication becomes a competition. Another wrong thing is to interrupt when something exciting is going on. Interrupting a person is the surest way to spoil the communication. Let us look at this example. A salesperson has to be a good listener to give the right solution to his client. Good salesmen always are the best listeners, and they don't even interrupt but listen patiently. They wait for the person to complete and then go on to start what they were saying. This is not easy, especially if this is a habit, but with practice and conscious effort, it is not impossible. Conclusion: listening effectively starts with a purpose, to get the state of the mind of the talker. It is your goal to grasp fully what the other person is trying to say. Response is equally important. It involves communication through verbal, non-verbal clues that you are getting the message. Spend time listening. It is a beautiful way to get a lot of information from others. And remember, to become a great speaker, you need to be a great listener too. Enjoy little things. Most of us have a rule as to when we will be happy. You don't need to wait to be happy or enjoy things. Life is filled to the brim with small things, situations that can make you happy. Like success, happiness is not a destination, but is a journey that you can embark on. The journey is filled with moments that give you true joy. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. We all keep waiting for something big to happen, that we always lose sight of the smaller joys of life. And if you have the eye to appreciate, life is filled all along with such little moments of joy. Also beautiful, if only you care to enjoy them. What happens when you reach the point when you had waited for is you feel a moment of true joy. Because for a moment your mind is comforted. You get a real glance of your inner self. But the moment you realize that the next thing to strike you is a major withdrawal symptom, in the sense, you feel a sense of emptiness because something you had based your life upon all this time has suddenly happened. What next? Let us look at this example. After you complete the current course of education that you are pursuing, or when you earn a certain amount of money, it's only then that you will allow yourself to be happy. Till then, you do something like gratification, postponing your happiness. A story of the legendary Mullah Nasruddin, whose friend was returning from the market. He had just purchased a duck that they were going to cook for dinner. He looked really sad and weary in life. "What's wrong?" Mullah asked his friend. "Everything, if you ask me. I'm looking for joy but still haven't found it." "Oh, so you haven't found happiness as yet?" the Mullah inquired. As the friend was nodding slowly, Mullah suddenly snatched the duck from his friend and started running. Worried, the friend ran after him, desperate to get the duck back. A long chase followed, after which finally the friend caught up with Mullah and immediately snatched the duck back. He was relieved and happy that he had the duck back. "Did you find it?" Mullah asked, smiling. "What?" asked the friend. "Happiness," said Mullah. Conclusion: a life that's lived for the joy of living is an art. Everywhere around are the trifles to fill you with joy. It could be a smile of a child that can set an entirely bad day right, or it could be a beautiful flower or a sunset or a butterfly that you see. It can also be a talk with a friend or a joke that you hear. These things have always been around you. All you needed to do was stand up and look. You needed to notice, and you'll see the splendor. You'll see the beauty and joy that you'd been missing. Do the one thing you had been postponing. Entire outlook, we have mainly focused on the short term. You see if anything is agreeable in the short term or not. All of us are driven by quick fixes. Sit up right now and make a list of things that you plan to do. You'll find a huge list. The unread books, some appointments with the doctor, or some phone calls to make, or somebody may have requested you to do some work that you have been postponing. Then there will be the things that fit in the "I always wanted to" group. The reason this list is so long is because you've always been postponing them. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. There are certain things that you have to do, like work or self-care. If you miss that, you're in for some trouble. When there is time for things to be done, they are always minor, but they will grow in size as deadlines approach, till they become huge monsters that cannot be killed. In this type of unplanned life, you will always spend time doing either absolutely pressing or absolutely futile things. You will develop habits that will devour your time too. Time is more important than money. You have an indefinite capacity to make money. However, time that goes past never comes back. When you're wasting time, realize that you're wasting a major part of your life doing nothing. Procrastination is not only the thief of time, but of ideas as well. If you've had a great idea but delayed acting on it, its enthusiasm will fade away, and you may have lost the opportunity of a lifetime. Procrastination also means delaying the execution of ideas. You have to clear the backlog of things that you've wanted to do for a long time. An unfinished task is also a big burden on the mind. When you leave something that's unfinished, it dwells in your mind. Let us look at this example. When the time to visit the dentist comes, you postpone the checkup since you have a party to go to that will not come again. The dentist is always there. This continues till your poor body gives you a signal, a toothache. Now you have no choice but to rush to the always there dentist. You may have planned some work for the evening, but your favorite movie is on the TV. You can't miss it, so you push this work for later. Then you sit up late night and complete it, only to get a late start for the next day. We always create the procrastination web where we get entangled. Conclusion. How do we end this? Through self-discipline. Treat time like money. Be very conscious of where it is spent. If this spending is not in your control right now, take action and get it into your control before you pay a heavy price. Take positive feedback. If there is one thing that you can share with your friends and apply all your life, it's taking positive feedback. Failures come to all of us. The people who are richest in society have lost the money too. The best speakers have tackled stage fear too. Even the best of our sportsperson were raw at some point of time or the other. The essence is feedback. That's the difference between ordinary and the extraordinary. Let us have a look at few of the important points to be considered. When you take the opinion of others, you are actually also sending out a message to them that you care. It's not being the footballs of others' opinion. You need to be very careful when you take feedback. Do that only from people who really care about you. There is a very thin line between a feedback and a criticism. You shouldn't be soft that the criticism will hurt you. You must be open to all that which comes in, but filter everything on the screen of truth. Human beings are not perfect. We were never meant to be. But it can always be a target that you want to achieve someday. Perfection can never be attained because life is a constant process of improvement. Keep reinventing yourself and you will never ever be behind. Let us look at this example. Make your life an adventure. Go and reach for all that you wish for. Remember, as Rome was not built in a day. The changes also will come very slowly. Very slowly. You have to be patient, and when they come, you will be surprised at the paradigm shift that had happened in your life. Conclusion. The reason why others' opinions are so important is that we have a different view of ourselves, our strengths and weaknesses. The other view is that seen by the external world. Though both are important, there is a slight difference in the two. While one is very easy to see mistakes from, the other remains a mystery. So feedback is the key to it. Life is either a daring adventure or nothing. By Helen Keller.